complex meal in that 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. time frame. That's when your digestion is the strongest. And the biggest mistake people make is they have their largest meal at night, 6, 7, 8, even 9 o'clock at night. And then they really have a very difficult time from a circadian cycle standpoint, breaking down that food and getting good recovering rest. Hi, this is Dr. Jim Sharps again, and today we're going to talk about getting yourself prepared for the summer and meeting your summer weight loss goals. Everybody now, you know that sun is peeking out, that weather is starting to climb up, and we're starting to think we got 3 months. Let me see, it's March, April, May, June. Oh yeah, the next 2 to 3 months, we can start setting our weight goals. Okay, there's a couple of tips I want to share with you that's going to empower you and to help you to make this an enjoyable and very successful experience. So the first one, and it's so important, set some goals. Just don't say, well, you know, I hope in the next 2 to 3 months I'm going to be okay. Set your goal, whether it's a certain amount of weight you want to lose, or it's a certain size you want to be. Set your goals. And the key about setting your goals, make them goals that will empower you. Make them goals that you will be successful. Don't put them too far out. So, you know, let's say, for example, you want to train yourself to be able to hold your breath for 3 minutes. You don't start with 2 minutes and 45 seconds. You might start with 15 seconds, 10, 15, and then you work up day by day. This is the same thing. So rather than doing a 2 to 3 month goal, do a week to 10 days, or no more than 15 days, something like that. Something that's meaningful, but something that's a bite-sized piece. And set your goals and work within that. And so if you see you're having a problem, then you can make the adjustments on the fly. So rather than making this long-term goal, do a series of short goals, even if the first one is only 3 days. And for some of us, you know, it might be for the next 20 minutes. Let me see if I can stay away from these cookies, cakes, pies, and candies. So set your goal and make it a meaningful time frame. The second thing I want to share with you that's very helpful, you've heard me talk about it in the past, is understanding a little bit and using some of the RBTI. RBTI, it can be very, very helpful for you in this goal setting, because then you have a tool to see how well you're meeting some of these goals. I talked about RBTI and other things, so I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time here, but it can tell you a little bit about how well you're managing your sugar, how well you're managing your salts, how well you're managing your diet. Is it improving your digestion? Are you assimilating your foods properly, etc.? So it's very helpful. And even if you use some of the aspects of it, like just getting the sugar and water right from an RBTI standpoint, you'll be amazed at how that little bit of improvement has a very synergistic effect over the rest of the program. Okay, the third thing, which is kind of related to this, is nutrition guidance. I want to tell you a couple of tips. First of all, right off the bat, the more of a plant-based whole food diet you're on, the better and easier it's going to be. But there's, you know, in the beginning, you don't have to change your diet at all. And let me show you a little tip. Even, let's say, for example, what's right for you is 2,000 calories. Even if you're on 3,000 calories, the first goal is see if you can kind of modify the way you're doing your eating. So you can take the same amount of calories, and if you finish them by 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the latest, you're going to be in really good shape. And the key is have your largest and most complex meal in that 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. time frame. That's when your digestion is the strongest. And the biggest mistake people make is they have their largest meal at night, 6, 7, 8, even 9 o'clock at night. And then they really have a very difficult time from a circadian cycle standpoint, breaking down that food and getting good recovering rest. So the digestive juices are strongest, as I said, between 10 and 2 p.m. And that whole digestive cycle works from 12 noon to 8 p.m. So after 8 p.m., you're going into the assimilation cycle. So if you're eating too late, you're going into that cycle where you should be assimilating your food rather than digesting. And it's going to just take up too much energy. And that's where you're going to have a lot of the weight challenges. Okay, the fourth goal is meal planning. Rather than just say, I'm going to eat better, why don't you put out a meal plan for 3 days, 7 days, a 10-day meal plan? Some of the clients I work with, I make up to a 40-day meal plan. And that way you're more conscientious about what you're eating. You can go by the plan and say, okay, you don't have to be rigid with the plan. We can say, let's see what foods that I can eat that's more consistent with this plan, with this meal plan. So meal planning is very important. The next principle number 5, is exercise. Now, you don't have to train to run a marathon. You don't have to be a triathlete. You don't have to do a whole lot of running at all, but you need about 10 to 20 minutes of some kind of exercise. Now, the more cardiovascular oriented it is, the better. But even simple warming, simple walking exercise, or even wall push-ups is what I was going to say. Sitting up and down, 10 to 15 minutes. Just be conscientious about doing some kind of exercise, 10 to 20 minutes, 3 to 5 times a week. The 6th principle is mindful eating. Mindful eating. What do I mean by that? A lot of us are eating and we're all distracted. We're on our computers, we're on our cell phones, we're doing all kinds of things. Now, you can be in a nice conversational mode, but you want to be as relaxed as possible. And if you are intense, take a break for a while, take a few deep breaths, because if you're eating under stress, any kind of stress, electromagnetic stress, anger, any of those kind of things, it really upsets your digestion big time. So be as mindful about being in a very calm space. And a couple of other principles: chew your food thoroughly. You don't want to just do 5, 6, 10 chews. Try to conscientiously chew at least 30 times. There's actually studies that show that if you chew your food more than 50 times per bite, it has a significant impact on improving digestive efficiency. So be very mindful about your eating in a very calm, peaceful state of mind, and chewing your food thoroughly and not being distracted by all kinds of electronics and things like that. Okay, and then the last principle is kind of backing all the way up to the first one. Track your progress. So if you're doing these bite-sized pieces, 7 days at a time, 3 days at a time, whatever makes sense for you, 10 days at a time, then you can track it. Okay, how did I do in this 10-day period? And then those things that you're having challenges, then in the next 10-day period, you can continue to improve, so that by the time you're 2 to 3 months out, you have a really groove swing on being able to understand these principles that we talked about, and having them put together in such an integrated way that is having a very powerful effect on helping you to meet your weight and or clothes size goals for the summer. So like, subscribe, and comment below on future topics. And until next time, I want to wish you the very best of health, happiness, and God's richest blessings in all of your endeavors, including your summer health goals. And until next time, bye for now, and God bless.